into the space, chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you're bad before you're good. Was told to buy when it was boring, like a Rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I stick the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a Rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic, then dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a Rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes it time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a Rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge to gain. Show, sticking out this road, cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing, and when it's slow will be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort, cause here comes the rain. So let's go Rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go with the hate, let the haters be crappy. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a Rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes it time fly by, years going so fast. This game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a Rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating.
December is almost over, and we are on the edge of a new year. What will it bring us in crypto? Is it safe to say amazing gains and total despair? How do I know that? Well, that is exactly what crypto offers us, even in the bull market. Today I want to talk about what I think 2022 will look like. Will we see a rise in crypto? Will we see a rise in crypto and gaming? Well, yes, but what specifically will it look like? That's what we want to talk about and get into. Will we see the metaverses go crazy? What will other parts of crypto look like as well? Now, if that's the discussion you're looking for, then join us. Is it fair to say a ton of games are coming out in the crypto space right now? It is almost overwhelming, isn't it? Is every one of these going to make money? Is every game legit? How to tell the difference? We will talk about what I look for. Also, I want to cover what the upcoming year will look like in games. Welcome to the Crypto Rainn channel. I'm your host, Jay Rainn, and if you like money in crypto and are looking for a real investor's take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family by liking this video and subscribing with the all notifications bell enabled. Special note, you know this, but I'm not a financial advisor. I am a crypto investor myself, sharing with you how I think about the crypto market and specific cryptos I like. I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I don't talk about cryptos that I don't believe in unless I specifically say that. We want to also welcome our new Patreons that join the Patreon. That does give you access to our private Discord that I interact with frequently, pretty much on a daily basis. Johnny M, Jucka, Edward H, Wayne, and Tim R. Welcome to the family. If it says at the beginning of this that there is sponsored content in this is because our strategic relationship with WanChain, who has been very good to us, and they give us 500 Wan every month to give away to the audience. So we want to thank them. They've been awesome. Big fan of WanChain. I've been an investor myself now for like 2 years, 2.5 years, and I hold large portions of my portfolio in WanChain. I absolutely love the project, and it was gracious of them to do the relationship with us. Now, this week, stay tuned because we will be doing the WanChain giveaway either on today's live stream or Friday's live stream. No live stream on Wednesday, though. I will be out of town. So join us, strap in for the show, and let's welcome our producer, D-Money, who is joining me in the Crypto Rainn Command Center.
Hey, what up, Jay? How was your holiday, man?
It was fantastic. Yeah, a lot of crypto activity going on, surprisingly.
I know, it's tough. It's like my wife kept looking at me. She's like, will you get off your phone? I'm like, well, it doesn't really sleep. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was super active, and I was like, oh. Yeah, so I spent half of Christmas Day actually taking care of some things and working with, some countries that they don't necessarily celebrate Christmas directly, maybe kind of like a passive holiday. And so crypto is such a global thing, right? And so we have all kinds of cultures, which has been a lot of fun learning about the different cultures. And a lot of times we interact with people on, all kinds of crazy time zones as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, it was nice to unplug, and I appreciate I wasn't here for the live stream, but you plugged through it. I was like, wait, you're doing it on Christmas Eve, Jay? Like that's dedication. It was my wife's birthday on Christmas Eve, so Jay was like, you better go spend some time with your wife and family. So that was nice. I appreciate that. Yeah,
and we did the pre-show live stream for the Patreon members as well, and that went really well. That was a lot of fun.
Nice. Well, let's get the party started. Here
let's
we go.
Join me, Rainmakers. Awesome. Let me just check out, see what's going on in chat. And let's see. There we go. Now I can see the chat. Fantastic. We got Christopher Ashby, we got Bearish Bull, Stardust Run, Jerry Squire, and Nine. Thank you for joining us. Woo! Looking forward to this one because I love crypto and gaming. Not just because I love video games, but there are some massive returns if you invest in the good games. So what is 2022 going to look like? Well, it certainly appears that lengthening cycles in that theory is absolutely playing out. We had no massive pump in December, at least, it's got a few days left, but that doesn't mean this massive wave that we've been talking about isn't coming. It just isn't here yet. So let's look at the Bitcoin chart and let's look at this lengthening cycles. I updated this chart just a little bit so it's a little bit easier to read, but back in November 2012, we had the first Bitcoin halving. Then we had this massive run. It doesn't look massive here, but it was massive. The reason it doesn't look so massive is because the chart here. And I know I could put it on logarithmic scale so that then you could see the relative increases better. It doesn't give you the perspective of how much we've grown in crypto, so I don't have that on. So look at the distance between these two was 368 days. This is the peak of the Bitcoin market, and this was when the halving happened. The second halving happened here, and there's 526 days between them. If you do some math and you say, okay, what was the increase in the length of time between when the halving happened and the peak happened, there was an increase here. It's like not quite a 50% increase, but if you do some math here, it suggests that maybe Bitcoin might peak out in May. Now, what does this mean for games? Bitcoin does set the agenda and still sets the stage, but the farther we go down this tech rabbit hole in crypto, the further other technologies within the crypto space will separate themselves from Bitcoin's 4-year cycle. But we aren't there yet, and Bitcoin is still highly relevant. As Bitcoin crosses some high numbers like 100,000, 150,000, that is going to bring all those who are on the sidelines, those, that have heard about Bitcoin, they haven't really gotten into it. We just had a discussion at a family thing, and there was a family member that's like, well, this and that, and they just sit on the sidelines, but that kind of thing finally gets their attention. So they've heard about it multiple times, then they start FOMOing massively, and my guess is that starts coming in February and continues through May. That sets the stage for crypto gaming, or what is now being called GameFi. More and more of the older generation with more savings, and probably I'd put myself in that generation, will come into Bitcoin first, and then some will go into where they see the returns going crazy, which will be this marriage between crypto and gaming. The younger generations, however, many will skip right over Bitcoin as their first step and will jump right into the hot crypto gaming and GameFi projects. So what is going to be hot, and how do I tell what to invest in? Well, like everything, this isn't financial advice, and still it's just a lot of guesswork, but I'll share with you some secrets I have that I've learned in business and in the crypto gaming space. I was an early investor in Axie Infinity. I was an early investor in Gods Unchained. How did I know that they would be big? Well, I didn't. It was a guess, but I'll share with you what secrets helped me make those guesses. But let me check up what's going on in the chat. Jerry Squire says, smash the likes. Hey, very much appreciate that. Thank you. Here we go. Sweet. Well, all right. Secret number 1. Are you ready? Follow smart investors. Now, Animoca Brands tends to have a great track record. As well, Alameda Capital, they're newer in the GameFi space, but not newer to investing. That's led by Sam Bankman-Fried, who is worth, what, $20-30 billion now, and he's only like 29. He's got a pretty significant track record for investing. Yes, he did create the FTX exchange, but before that, he was making money trading himself, and so he's got a great track record. So one of the things that I do is I look at people with a great track record. Some other VCs with great track records you might follow are Brotherhood Ventures, Zephyrus Capital, WeHodl, Aussie Capital, and there's more. So secret number 1 is you look at what the successful people are buying, and then you do your own research on top of that, and then if you like it, then you take a roll of the dice. It is always a roll of the dice, and sometimes it doesn't play out like you would think, and it still requires patience. When I invested in Axie Infinity, it was literally January 2019. It was after a year of getting punished in the crypto market, and I thought this idea of crypto gaming would be solid, and at the time I was actually kind of scared. Their team was not the solid team it is today, and it was pretty early stages, and it was a roll of the dice. But then they got backed by Animoca Brands, and that brought some additional capital as well as some additional strength in. So it's still some guesswork, and it does require patience because Axie Infinity didn't do anything for a long time. Actually, Gods Unchained is now coming back in because back when you could buy, this was about that same time frame, January 2019 through like March, they had a sale for Genesis packs, and you could buy these packs. And then they actually did quite well at first, Gods Unchained. This was back when ETH trading fees were negligible because nobody was using it because it was the bear market. But then Gods Unchained got savaged when everybody started using Ethereum. And so now 2.5 years later, they have ported over all the Genesis packs and all those cards to Immutable X. The game has had a lot of traction, a lot of growth. It is backed by Coinbase Ventures. Wouldn't be surprised if when Coinbase adds their NFTs that they add that, but still requires patience. You see, that was 2.5 years ago. I didn't dump the stuff and then leave. I just held on to it, even though it's finally coming back into relevancy literally 2.5 years later. So even though it's backed by Coinbase Ventures, that required a long amount of patience, 2.5 years. Ooh. But patience is such a big part of making money in crypto. People underestimate that. I know as human beings, we're looking for that quick fix, right? We come in, we're like, okay, I want to 30x my portfolio this month. And if you're really blessed, that could happen to you. But is that the norm? Not really. Okay, Christopher says, hey Jay, question on Avacado. Since the public investors get 100% of their tokens unlocked immediately, do you think it'll dump like Bumper on launch once the copper sale is complete? I don't think so, because that's actually tested the market, because anybody could invest in it right now. That's the price that it's going for, and those tokens are unlocked. So I did cover the other day Avacado Guild. Avacado Guild is the largest play-to-earn guild. They are doing a token launch. They're doing it on copper launch actually right now, and if we get time in the question and answer, we'll go through it. So I'll show you where it is in that right now. Okay, so secret number 2, follow the users. Axie took a while to have a huge user base because the whole idea of play-to-earn gaming was a different way of thinking, as well as playing required an investment in a team of 3 Axies. So the guilds were created out of this to sponsor new players. This is actually where Avacado Guild really was birthed, was sponsoring new players and saw this need, and they came in and did this. They're the largest guild doing this, and these guilds really came out of Axie Infinity because of the investment it took to get into it. They then teach their players how to maximize profits and how to play with their teams and kind of like give them some mentoring and education. This helps new players be able to come in, make money without having to make that investment, and has really smoothed out some bumpy edges in the initial play-to-earn game that really built this space. And with that, Axie's player base grew huge. Splinterlands is now going crazy. Gods Unchained is also going crazy. Thetan Arena has grown a massive user base. At least they say these users like 6 million downloads. Well, they say 6 million users. That's probably 6 million downloads, but it'll be interesting to see what that user base is, because a large user base says that the game is doing well, and follow the user base. Now, with that said, a lot of those are already more expensive, right? Axie Infinity, definitely so. Splinterlands, yeah, you missed a great chance to buy it cheap. Fate and Arena, yep, also more expensive, right? So what about the ones that are in the early stages? How do I tell if they'll be huge? Well, secret number 3, that comes down to researching the background of the team, reading their white paper, and good old-fashioned hard work to make the best educated guesses. This is what I do a lot of, and sometimes there isn't a shortcut to it. This has led me to a few of the upcoming games that I want to share with you, in fact, most of them. 2 are already out that you can invest in, and if they're if they're interesting to you, because this isn't financial advice. This is just telling you what I'm interested in and what I'm liking that I see, and I tell you why I like it. And then 4 of these are coming soon. So let me take a look at chat, see how we are. Jay, do you know about Icon? Their ICY drop Snapchat for the airdrop is tomorrow. I don't know about that. Sorry, it's on the 29th. What are your thoughts on... That's cool. I like Icon. What are the thoughts about the impending bear market? Do you think play-to-earn games will make it through? That is a great question. I think we're going to get savaged in the play-to-earn space, because I think we're going to have a massive parabolic move. And what are massive parabolic moves followed by? Getting savaged. Now, certain games will get savaged less, but I think as people come into this space, we're going to see like epic gains, and with those epic gains comes retracement, usually a massive overcorrection. So what happens, because we're human beings, is FOMO is real, and people new coming into the space think that these rules don't apply. And so if we do have the kind of thing that I think is coming, with that is going to follow a huge retracement, which will lead to some great pickups. So I don't know about you. I'm hoping to take that ride up, take a lot of profits out, so I don't have to take that ride down. And when that ride goes way down, I was actually just talking to one of my favorite fellow YouTubers, Dub Digital. We were talking about that earlier this morning. I love that guy. I love his grasp on economics and just tokenomics and just how he thinks about things. So him and I were chatting this morning specifically about that, and he said he's going to have a lot of cash liquid on the sidelines to pick up some really, really good GameFi deals when the market gets oversold and it overcorrects to the downside. So yes, I still think that'll happen. How come the price of THG keeps dropping with so many users while others are increasing? Probably because it's pumped so much and somebody's taking profits. So it might be the pre-sale investors. I don't know what their pre-sale investor allocations look like or who would have tokens, but that clearly there's more sell pressure than there is buy pressure, and that's why they're falling. As to why, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looks like it. Like they've 12x'd from their IDO probably. At least some point, and now they're just down to like a measly 5x. So it has, so it's dropped, and that's frustrating, I'm sure. But that's why we don't chase green candles, right?
I would be shocked if they're only up 12% or 12x from their IDO price. What price are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking at CoinGecko right now, so maybe that's not exactly.
If you pull up ICO Phaeton Arena, a lot of times they'll give you the price. Let me, while D's seeing if he can get exactly like the IDO price, I'm going to go into some of these ones. Now, I do want to cover one more thing. People have, I guess, like it's crazy how Plan B's stock to flow model has worked so well, and now that it's like off and their predictions for November and December weren't right, people are like written it off. And I think that's a mistake. I just think this lengthening cycle, I think actually their model is extremely relevant. We're just really undervalued right now for where it should be. And there's a lot of factors that factor into why, but I think we're going to go way over it. And I still like their model overall. And it's remarkable how accurate he has been in the past. And so just because he's wrong once, he's still right, probably more than any other person in crypto. on a percentage basis. And so don't dismiss what he has to say. He's probably got the best track record of anybody in crypto. And so I think we're massively undervalued, and we're going to go to a massive overcorrection this way. And I use this analogy a lot, but think of like pulling a rubber band back, and the longer that we're undervalued, usually the farther it shoots to the other side when it does. And that's why I think we're going to have this massive run that's coming. All right, as to the projects I want to share with you that I think are good. Now, you guys know this if you've been in my audience for a while, and this is Litcraft and Experience. Now, it won't have the graphics and has a different gameplay than a lot of the stuff we're going to look at that is really exciting. And some of this is the economics behind it. Now, I am an investor in the company behind this. They developed their own blockchain that can handle 8 million transactions per second. I did not say that wrong. 8 million transactions per second. And that's the Devio blockchain. They are launching a token soon. They have been in development for about 5 years now. They actually created their solution 4 years ago. It took them a long time to develop how to interact with a codable language that everyone could use, and they decided to interact with API calls so that basically 90% of programmers know how to make API calls. And that was a very hard solution to come up with. Well, now it's working well. They built their own game on top of it as not only a game, like the founder, he's been in the gaming world for a long time. He also wrote this book, you see his name here, Tom Anderson, about this whole ecosystem that he created around Litcraft and all of the lore. And he's been working on this idea of Litcraft for like 12 years. And so this is the first of their Litcraft games called an Experience. Now you'll see some of their gameplay here, and I'm just going to, well, I guess I can turn the sound on. I'm just going to jump around a little bit. They are having a land sale that you can still buy. This is a little bit of battles that they have going on. This is mining that you can do. There's some other resource things that you can do. You see, this is their craft, that is their breeding, where you can breed your different lit pets together to get different ones, and this explains to you what you need to do it. So literally there's like 186 different lit pets out there. This is the breeding chart of how you get to the ones that you want that have different strengths and everything. A lot of this, see, right now it's playable on the computer. I don't remember if the Mac version is out, but there's also going to be a version that's on your phone, because this is where this is going. This is the perfect type of game, kind of a resource-based game to be on your phone, playing the type of games that people play anyway that will allow them to earn different resources that are usable for crafting and other things in the game. I think this one will do really well. It incorporates a lot of models that are already proven to do very well, and they've had this in beta test for a while, and they will be launching their actual game still scheduled for sometime in January. So it is quite in-depth, and I played the alpha myself, and it was really enjoyable. I played it for about a solid week with time I didn't really have, and quite enjoyed it. Well, let's jump into, so this one, do know that I'm highly invested in this one myself. I am an advisor, so maybe I'm biased here, but just because I'm biased doesn't mean I'm wrong on this. Second game I want to share with you is Decimated. Now, we were blessed to be able to have Steven, their creative director, come on and share with us more about Decimated, but they are launching on Huobi. Their token is DIO, and that will be listing on the 29th on Huobi. So check them out. Check out that video. D can put it up, so if you're watching this after the live stream, that we can have it, and it will magically show up in the air so that everyone can see it. But this is one to watch. Their graphics are unreal. They just announced this vehicle that you'll be able to get. This is the type of gameplay we've been looking for. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, I like first-person shooters. They're a lot of fun. I do like strategy games and first-person shooters. So I'm really excited with what Decimate is doing. This is their Twitter. To find them on Twitter, real quick, let me give you their Twitter handle. It's decimated_game. That's a correct one. These are our friends over at VLaunch. Looks like Decimated shared this out. Cool. And there's Stephen Arnold, who came on to our channel and did an AMA, but their stuff looks fantastic.
Hey Jay.
Yeah.
Before we move on to number 3, we got a question. So Nick Scott, he says that he bought 2 Litcraft land chests. Jay, what's the best strategy for it? I assume for investing as far as that goes.
Of when to sell it?
Yeah.
So their game will launch, and it's going to be. I have a bunch that I bought myself. I bought some of their lit pets, even though I get some as an advisor. I bought a bunch more that I had to pay for, like everyone else. So more land and the lit pets. So I'm holding on to them till the game comes out. People are using it, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I want some of the land." Well, the cool thing about the land sale and the lit pet sale is they're level 7 land pieces, which will never be sold again, and the lit pets are level 7, which you can get in game. They're just extremely, extremely rare. And so once the use case is being used, that's when I'm looking for taking profits on it. So probably it's like a 4 or 5 month thing from here. I'm looking for when things massively go crazy, and then there's a bunch of FOMO, and that's what I sell into, right? When all the other channels are finally realizing it. Oh my gosh, this game's the best. Look, you can buy these lit pets for only 4 ETH or whatever, right? You know, I'm like, yes, you can. In fact, let me put some on the market so that you can buy them. That's my exit strategy. The land, we'll talk some more about another game in their land. The land on use case on this, it does help you make more through the investment side. I do know that there's, if you go to the Litcraft's Telegram group, there are people that are playing the alpha, or I think it's in beta now, and they're playing it like every day, and they love this, and they're really enjoying the game. So I look forward to them doing a live launch and seeing how the market receives it. And it is a lot more fun to play than Axie Infinity. It's a lot more in-depth than what you can do. There's a lot more specialization that can happen. The crafting table is quite big. You can't be an expert in all areas, and some people will find their different niches of expertise and then just transfer and sell and buy things on the marketplace. So I don't know that their marketplace will be ready even in January. It'll probably be February or March to be able to sell things, and then I'm going to wait till it's hot, right? Now, I had to sit on Gods Unchained cards for like 2.5 years before they're starting to get hot, and they're just starting to get hot, so I'm not going to sell them now. I wait till they get really hot and then sell. Hopefully with the lit chests, pets, and land, we're looking at like 4 or 5 months is what I'm hoping for. But you never do know how this could play out. That's just my best guess on how this is going to play out. Bitcoin peaks somewhere around April or May. The altcoins still continue to run for a while. Gaming might even run longer. But when it gets absolutely crazy and you see all kinds of people just coming in and FOMOing in, that's when I'm selling. That's when I'm taking profits. And I am putting on the sidelines. Let's go into our next game. This one, I just learned about this last weekend, and the graphics for it are incredible. Doesn't look like this on the Twitter, but I do have some gameplay to share with you. Looks amazing. Okay, so there we're getting a little bit better graphics, but it gets better than this. All right, let me share this with you. So that's the world. They just zoomed out. Like, this is like if you were flying around in a plane. Like, this is the depth of the world there. Yes. Cool. So we got tanks. We got vehicles. That's what I'm talking about. I want one of those. Got planes. Already in crypto. I didn't think this kind of stuff would happen so soon. Now, these games aren't ready to play. They are in development. They're going to be ready to play in a while, but a lot of it, if you think about it, Axie Infinity land is freaking ridiculously expensive right now. And what's the use case like on the Axie Infinity land? Anyone know? You can't use it yet. So that even though these games won't be playable till later, that doesn't mean they can't have massive increases as like a lot of people FOMO into this space. Oh, shoot, I'd have to be in a whole different thing for us to look at Axie Infinity land, because it is not on OpenSea. And I don't want to pull that up right now. But basically the base land on Axie Infinity, last I checked, was like 15 grand. And you can't even use it yet. So Endless Battlefield has amazing graphics. Here's another one showing the dude parachuting in. So this is the kind of graphics we've been looking for, right? So, and the kind of gameplay, I don't know about you, but that I've been looking for. And I do like Call of Duty. I spent about a year after I went through a divorce. I like did the minimum that I needed to do to like keep working, as just I recovered emotionally, because usually you're a wreck when you go through a divorce. And I played a whole lot of Call of Duty, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, so I like that kind of gameplay. Call of Duty specifically is hard because anyone else in like my generation, you get in and play Call of Duty like once a year, and the kids that play it every day like totally womp on you. Yeah, PUBG, I know, parachuting in, it does look like that. Yeah, that is the downside of like Call of Duty, is like now that I just don't play it hardly ever, I get in there and I get womped on by some like 12-year-old, and then they come like dance on your body and everything, right? And they're like, you suck. And it's like, I do, I have a real job. I can't do this, every day. I don't know. In the crypto winter, I don't really have a real job anymore. I did retire in March, but I have this, and I have you guys that I try to keep informed, and there is a lot of work behind that. So I guess I still have a real thing going on, though I couldn't call it a job. All right, let's take a look at this graphics. I mean, this is so cool to me. I'm loving it. Let's take a look at another one that looks amazing, and this is called FOTA, or Fight of the Ages. Hey, check out these characters.
Hey, Jay, I think you need to stop the other video. I think we're getting double, the previous Battlefield video.
Oh, is it running?
Yeah,
oh, it is.
going.
Definitely the sound is going.
Yeah, so
good
we're
call.
stacking.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. Because I can't hear the sound you guys are hearing. So good catch on that. Thank you. Yeah, these characters look amazing. Now this will be, I think, on the PC as well, on mobile phones. That dude is awesome. Isn't this really exciting where gaming and crypto gaming is going? And do you see how this is going to bring in so many people? I mean, this is the level of quality of games we've been waiting for. That I've been waiting for. Because even when I was investing in Axie Infinity, I knew that was just a first step. And Gods Unchained actually did a really good job with the gameplay with cards. Just card games like that aren't really my thing. But for people who play card games, what they have is amazing. I've been looking for these type of games. This is this type of stuff that I like. That one totally looks like a Pokemon, doesn't he? Yeah, Fight of the Ages looks amazing. You can check them out on Twitter, FOTA-Fight of the Ages. Specifically, it's at Fight of the Ages. And follow them so that you can keep up to date. They're still not out yet. You can't buy them. Which launchpad they're going to come on, I don't know. But this is why launchpads, and I cover them a lot, is because being able to get these ones on launchpad, then getting your initial money back out plus some profits is a great way to make some great returns. But you have to be aware of what's good and what's not. So this is one to look for, FOTA, and see if you like it. I think it's going to be really, really hot. Speaking of hot, Dee and I were talking about this one beforehand. Holy freaking cow. Okay, the Fabled. This one looks amazing. I would totally play this. Dee?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm like, this reminds me of Skyrim, which is one of my favorite games of all times. I'm like, I've been looking for like an MMORPG Skyrim, and kind of they have some like Black Desert Online and a few, but this is what I've been looking for. Yes. Just like the action is good. Love it, love it. And you can follow them there right here, The Fabled NFT. Now, I got some more action to share with you. We're not done on them. Yeah, that is, oh my, the cinematics on this are amazing. That is so cool.
Jay, I'm curious. You flashed their Twitter for a second. They don't have 5,000 Twitter followers yet. How much of that does that concern you?
They're so early,
right?
No,
or is that
so
something
early.
where you're just like, oh my gosh, we're so early to this?
You're
one.
hearing about this first. Like almost nobody's heard of them yet. So that's why, like, you'll just hear about a lot of things here first, right? Because it's all that research and reading a bunch of white papers and networking of what's coming up and what's behind the scenes and what's going to be hot. So like everything, right, we're talking about it here before it's hot, and then we're selling into the demand. Unfortunately, on these pre-sale games, the only way, these ones before they come out, the way to get into them is really the launch pads. Or if you can make some friends with some VCs, really, because outside of that, you're not going to be able to get into it. Look how sick that is. I love it. Now, some of this stuff, we don't know the economics in game yet. Like, obviously, those make a lot of difference, but this, I'd have to say, this is the Skyrim, like the future Skyrim game that I've been waiting for a long time. Here's their website. It's still early days. Like, their website's nice, decent, but that gameplay is what I was loving. But you can come here and you can read more about it. Houses, females, mounts, they'll be doing that. Playable beta. So, yeah, I think you guys can see why I'm so interested in Fabled. Let's take a look at the chats. Bob the Builder, thank you for your super chat. Was wondering where you buy your Fidira. I buy it on QuickSwap. Also, how far do you think the price can go? Love the rap vid, by the way. For Christmas, we did put out a rap video. Many of you wanted one that you could just play over and over and over again to listen to the words, because they do reinforce the principles we teach on this channel about buying when it's boring, I call it, which is basically buying when it's low. Nothing seems to be going on, but on a project that has good fundamentals, and then selling when it gets hyped and super pumped, right? That's when we sell. And in the song it says, when it's pumped, to dump it. I don't know that I dump it. I sell it off in tears, but it was a fun way to put it into the song. So when it goes parabolic, and dump it, because we do sell at highs and we buy when it's low. So thank you for that. Fidira, how high can it go? That's a great question. It hasn't. It's a unique project. They're making gift cards that they have distribution channels to get those in convenience stores and other stores around the world very quickly. And so I think as crypto, the narrative really goes hot, and then all these announcements come out, and Fidira comes into everyone's mind, then it will go gangbusters. Where will it go to? I really don't know. $1 to $15. It depends on too many variables that I can't measure, and I don't have a pattern to look at with them, because they are a different type of project. I mean, they have all the real world connections with the distribution channels to put them in these stores like that. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I have a huge bag of Fidira myself, and so I'm just kind of waiting passively. I believe it's going to do way better than now, and as it goes like over $1, I'll probably take some profits, take some more profits, take some more profits, maybe even some earlier. Well, really over $1 is my take profit one zone. The only reason I would sell it shorter before that is just if it gets high and there's something else that's cheaper. Sometimes I make those swaps, but that's what I'm looking for, Bob. All right. Let's see if there's anything in chat. I still have one more game to get into, but I want to check up what's going on with everyone in chat. What's up, guys? That was the Battlefield soundtrack. Interesting. Probably get a copyright strike because we played it. Fantastic. We'll put this on not monetized. All right. So how do you spell that? Fidira is Fidira. Yep. D Money put it in there for me. Thank you. Cool. All right.
I don't know. Bro D Hooks is saying, am I the only one that the video is basically thumbnailed? I don't know what he means by that. He says small pic in the upper left-hand corner. If somebody else is experiencing that, let us know in the chat. But everything looks good on my end.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what's going on there. let me get into what our number 6 pick is, and this is Embersword. Now, we did have their team member on. We did have Joris come on the channel about 4 or 5 months ago. They have done their land sale. If you were able to get into the land sale, you've made tremendous gains already. I don't know about you, but for their land sale number 1, my transaction got stalled because I tried to buy a whole settlement, like all 4 of the pieces, and they were trying to group them together, and it like totally crashed Polygon. And so then they made it so that you could buy them individually, but my transaction was stuck, and I had to watch the whole land sale number 1 happen while my transaction wouldn't unstick. So I missed out on that. The second land sale, they did let me, like a lot of people who put in for that, buy 1 piece. And we'll talk about why I'm interested in it. First of all, they've been working on this game for 3 years. D can reference it so that we can get the Embersword interview with Joris on there. This is along the lines of this game, RuneScape. So the team that developed Embersword, they were one of the biggest guilds in RuneScape, and they wanted to make a better game, an updated game, because as you can see, RuneScape is really old school. And RuneScape went ahead and made an upgraded game, but guess what? They have missed the huge picture behind it. Guess what they didn't do? Integrate it with crypto. What a mistake, right? I'm looking at Star Citizen, a game I've been waiting for now for about 8 years, and they've been in development for 10 years. And they're not integrated with crypto, and if they don't, that will put them in the ash heap of history. And specifically, Star Citizen will be the game that raised the most amount of funds in history that never became playable because this whole GameFi thing took off, and everyone's like, oh, really cool game, Star Citizen. Oh, wait, I don't own the assets? Oh, what? Oh, I can't trade the stuff for real money? I'm out, right? So Embersword, really cool gameplay. Let me see. I think I've got... Do I have? I have some video. Maybe. What? Okay, gameplay video is what I'm looking for. Here we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Yes. Now that looks cool, doesn't it? Okay, so that was what I was looking for. So what is it that I like about this one? Now the token, I don't know the details on the token. I haven't followed that. What I like about it is the land. Now why do I like the land? Well, specifically it comes down to this. They're splitting the fees that they make in the game. So they're going to take like a $7% transaction fee, and this is where they make their revenue in the game. This is actually directly where they make their revenue. So it'll kind of be like VV already does this. This is pretty normal. Bored Ape Yacht Club, every time one of those sells, they make some money, a percentage of the sale price. And so they work this out that as all these transactions happen in their marketplace, they take a 7% fee. But the company, Brightstar, only keeps 3.5%. The other 3.5% they share with the landowners. There are some additional benefits to owning the land, that it upgrades your title if you're a landowner. And like if you own a city, you're, I forget, like a duke or a duchess or something. So that's cool. But they share the revenues, and they share it this way. So of that $3.50, now $1 will go globally, shared out among all the land pieces. You get a higher percentage if you have like a settlement or if you have a city than you do if you just have a regular plot. But $1 of that gets shared out globally, and then $2.50 that gets shared out to the local area, which is like a 20 by 20 around your piece. And I'll show you what that looks like. Now there's 2 places that you can trade with this, and one is on OpenSea. And so like the entry price right now is 0.22 ETH, which isn't cheap. These sold at $40. So they've already had some tremendous appreciation. So there is some risk, and I'll talk about it. So OpenSea is one place you can buy it, but it's really hard to tell. You're like, okay, land 115 by 138, and that is where? The other place you can trade it is tokentrove.com. Now, Tokentrove is integrated with Polygon, so you can trade it here. It's also going to be integrated or already integrated with Immutable X, so that you can trade things like Gods Unchained on this. Now, Tokentrove is what I use to buy and sell Gods Unchained, like 2.5 years ago, before the prices got crazy on the ETH network. So I've used this site a lot before, and I picked up some land for this myself. I like it. Now, right now it's sorted by newly listed, but let me share with you, okay, lowest price on here. See how it gives you this grid out around it? So I'm hovering over this, and it's showing you this 20 by 20 grid around it. So any sales that happen within that grid, or if an item initially drops there, you get a percentage of the revenue when that's sold. Does that make sense? So half of the revenue goes to the area around where it dropped initially, and half of the revenue goes to where it sold. And so that if you're like way out in the boonies, there's probably not going to be any marketplaces there, but that might be where all the good stuff drops, so that you're not left high and dry. Now, this is all the good news about it, right? What's the risks? Well, the risks are that the prices have already 20x to this price. So are they going to go up from here? Well, that is the risk, right? They might go up from here. They might not. How do we know? Well, we don't. The game isn't out yet that you can play. We don't know exactly how this marketplace is going to work. But if you do some calculations on how much money you're going to make from the land revenue, it isn't as much as you would want. So if they're doing $1 billion in revenue, of transaction revenue in a year, for owning one of these base pieces of land, you might get like $200. And that's if they're doing $1 billion of revenue. In fact, it might not even be, it might only be like $50 to $100. And it depends really where your land is and how much of you get that local revenue, right? However, that still has some income value. Look at where Axie Infinity's base price of land has gone, 15 grand, right? It's not even usable yet, and I don't know what the current situation is on it, but back when I bought it, they said, well, when people travel over your land, or they battle Axies on your land, or Chimera on your land, then they'll drop some of the Luna as they pass over it. Now, I don't know what the current model is, because they changed the Luna token to the XS token. And so I don't know what the current story is on the land and the revenue is, but just look how bullish people are on the land prices in Axie Infinity with an entry price of $15,000. So say the market gets really, really hot, and it goes to like, Axie goes to like $80,000 for its entry level price. That leaves room for other good projects out there to go to $15,000 or $20,000. And that's where I'm hoping this goes. Who knows if it will, and it's a risk. I particularly was liking the ones around the cities where the red things are, because you're going to have more sale transaction volume coming through there. Does that make sense? So here's Sandbox, and let's look at Sandbox, which has no revenue shares, but you can like put buildings on it, and maybe you can advertise on it, and put billboards and stuff. And their base fees are what, 3.1? This is the entry level for buy now on OpenSea, 3.175 ETH, which would put us these days about 13 or 14,000. All right. Let me take a look at what's happening in chat.
Yeah, not a lot of questions today. We may. I know that you need to get on the road, right? To get where you're going for the holiday. Yeah, not a ton of questions right now, so it might be time to wrap. I don't know.
All right, bye wrap. Okay.
WRA. Well, I guess rap and rap, right?
We rap and rap. If you're ready to be a Rainmaker in your own life and join the Navy SEALs of crypto to level up your crypto game, and are looking for life-changing gains, some of you are looking for those life-changing gains, or even to get that car that's so expensive it increases in value rather than depreciates, and to really gain the knowledge, or at least to have a community that talks about these subjects, about helping identify when things are inexpensive, or so that we can buy low, so that we have a better idea of a better position so that we can sell when it's high. Well, join the Rainmaker family through subscribing as we continue to get into how to analyze projects in ways that turn my portfolio from thousands to millions, and the system that I use to think about crypto that helps keep emotions in check, and it works. But before it can, you do have to understand it, as well as how to look for these undervalued projects, and that comes through joining us on a daily basis. If you give this video at least a 7 out of 10, would you do us a huge favor and hit that like button? If this video sucked and was a 6 out of 10, that's cool. Let us know. Hit the dislike button and tell us what sucks so bad about it. Love you all. For all of you family members, Rainmaker family members, here's the wrap just to reinforce the principles that we've been talking about this whole show. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
Came into the space chasing all of the games, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, shit bad before you could. Was told to buy when it was boring like a Rainmaker should. Buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I stick the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a Rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't leave with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Buy when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling the parabolic, they dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a Rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a Rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, but time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy, but when knowledge you gain show. Sticking out this wrong, cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing, and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort, cause here comes the rain. So let's go Rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be crappy. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a Rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. This game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a Rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, but time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a Rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.